The Phantom in the Feed: Why the Narcissist Becomes a Monitoring Spirit. There's a peculiar phenomenon that happens when a relationship with a narcissist ends. The body leaves, the voice stops, the arguments go quiet, but the watching doesn't. They become what I call a monitoring spirit, not mystical, not supernatural, just a human being whose ego is so fragile and so inflated at the same time that they cannot tolerate losing access to your narrative. So they hover, they lurk, they scroll, they drive by, they ask mutual friends, they create fake pages, they accidentally show up. It's not romance, it's not unfinished love, it's surveillance wrapped in wounded pride. Let's break this down. Number one, the narcissist's core wound: loss of control. At the heart of narcissism is not confidence, it's control. A narcissist organizes their world around maintaining a steady flow of validation. Psychologists call it supply, compliments, attention, fear, tears, reactions, energy. When you leave, or when you emotionally detach, you interrupt that supply chain. And nothing terrifies a narcissist more than being irrelevant, being replaced, being exposed, or being forgotten. So they monitor. Because if they can see you, they can still feel like they have influence. Silence is tolerable. Ignorance is not. Number two, why watching feels safer than reconnecting. You think if they missed you, they'd call. But reaching out risks rejection. Watching does not. Monitoring from the shadows gives them information without vulnerability, access without accountability, and emotional stimulation without exposure. They can analyze your posts, decode your captions, zoom in on who liked your picture, all without having to say, "I miss you." For someone whose ego is allergic to humility, lurking is safer than honesty. Number three, jealousy and possession disguised as concern. Narcissists do not see people as separate individuals. They see them as extensions. Have you ever heard them say, "When I shine, you shine," or "we mirror each other"? When you were with them, you were theirs. Your glow, theirs. Your success, theirs. Your body, theirs. Your loyalty, theirs. And when you leave, they experience it less like a breakup and more like a theft. So they monitor for new partners, new success, new happiness, and new stability. They want to know, are you thriving without me? Because if you are, it shatters the fantasy that you needed them to function, and that's intolerable. Number four, the fantasy of return. Monitoring also feeds their delusion that the story isn't over. If they keep tabs on you, they can tell themselves, "She still posts things that remind me of us," or "she hasn't moved on," or "they're really not happy," or "I could go back anytime." They rewrite your life in their head to preserve their superiority. It's not about you. It's about maintaining their inner myth. Number five, narcissistic injury and obsession. When you walk away, especially if you do it calmly, strategically, and without drama, you cause what's called a narcissistic injury. You bruise their ego, and wounded egos obsess. Monitoring becomes a way to soothe humiliation, a way to gather ammunition, and a way to prepare for a comeback. Some like escalate into stalking behaviors because their ego cannot process the idea that it no longer has access. And that's when things get serious. Number six, when monitoring crosses into stalking. Let's be clear. Lurking on social media is immature. Driving by your house is invasive. Showing up at your job is intimidation. Creating fake accounts to watch you is predatory. Stalking is about power restoration. The narcissist thinks, if I can still make you uncomfortable, I still matter. If you're experiencing real-life stalking, harassment, or fear for your safety, This is no longer a psychological curiosity. It's a safety issue. Document everything. Tell trusted people. Consider legal protections. Your peace is something that you owe, that it's just like, your peace is not something that you owe anyone access to. And when someone takes that from you, you have to do something about it. And you got to stand 10 toes down on it and mean business. Your safety matters more than their ego. Number 7, the monitoring spirit is a refusal to let go of a narrative. The narcissist doesn't just lose you. They lose the version of themselves. When you heal, grow, and thrive, you silently contradict their story that you were unstable, that you were lucky to have them, that you couldn't survive without them, or that you had issues. That's one that they love to use. Your glow becomes evidence. So they watch, hoping to catch you fall. Not because they love you, but because your strength exposes them. Number 8, why this is actually a sign that you're free. Here's the twist. Monitoring means that they are outside. Watching from the shadows means that they no longer have access to your inner world. You no longer are explaining yourself. You're no longer begging, and you're no longer performing. They are just reduced to being observers. And nothing bruises a narcissist more than being demoted from the main character to audience. The antidote: starve the surveillance. You don't defeat a monitoring spirit with drama. You defeat it with no contact, privacy adjustments, emotional neutrality, documentation if needed, and absolute refusal to perform for their gaze. They want a reaction. They want proof that they still can stir you. Indifference is psychological kryptonite. The final truth: the narcissist becomes a monitoring spirit because they cannot metabolize loss. They cannot tolerate irrelevance. They cannot endure seeing you flourish without them. And they cannot accept that the story continues and that they are no longer in it. So they watch from the edges, from fake profiles, from mutual friends' accounts, from parked cars on the street. But here's the part that matters the most. When someone is watching from the shadows, it means that you stepped into the light. And light has a funny way of revealing who never belonged there in the first place.